pulled in for the final episode, the Darksaber.
So the way the Darksaber came about was I was a character on Clone Wars, a Mandalorian named Pre Vizsla.
This lightsaber was stolen from your Jedi temple by my ancestors during the fall of the Old Republic. Since then, many Jedi have died upon its blade. Prepare yourself to join them.
It's like a katana. It's pretty cool.
Really cool.
And you're figuring out now how to show it on screen.
Yeah, John and I are just working on that.
Oh, John, you're doing it?
We've gone
right
round
now.
and round on
So
that
how do you
thing,
make a thing that has no light but just has, what we're digging is actually that, much like the old lightsabers, that there's actually a practical element that has weird anomalies that makes it look.
Yeah.
That makes it look like those reflective dowels that they use. And actually one was a spinning reflective dowel for the old
I
ones,
think that's
right?
something that we have to kind of, experience, which is when we do take things that like came from like the Clone Wars. We have to think that in that show they're stylized, and that was like an animated style of something from live action. And it's not about doing any of those things one-to-one, but it's about saying, so that's based
How would
on
he have
something.
done it?
Yeah, that's through the lens.
How would George have done it?
This is Mos Eisley Tower. We are tracking you. Head for Bay 3-5. Over.
Copy that. Locked in for 3-5.
In episode 105, we get to go back to Tatooine, and we go inside the Mos Eisley Cantina.
It should look very faithful to the original. We did about a little bit less than half of the build.
We were able to build a recreation of EV-99, which is now the bartender droid.
Mark Hamill came in and voiced the droid who had appeared in Return of the Jedi.
Unfortunately, the Bounty Guild no longer operates from Tatooine.
And then I'm driving R5-D4 through the scene.
Hey, droid. I'm a hunter. I'm looking for some work.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Star Wars Mandalorian video about the Darksaber they talk about during that clip and the secret Mark Hamill cameo scene. That's right, Luke Skywalker secret cameo during the Mandalorian Season 1, and I didn't see anybody talking about it during the actual season. So it sounds like nobody spotted it when it actually happened. So we'll break it all down. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos, and we'll do a new Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave all your theories and predictions about the Mandalorian Season 2 on the video. So just starting with the Darksaber stuff first, just because that's relevant to what's going on during the Mandalorian Season 2. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni explain how they did the Darksaber, why they did the Darksaber, because they could have picked any common type of lightsaber to use during the Mandalorian series, but there's a lot of special reasons and connections between the Darksaber, the Mandalorians, the Mandalorian character Din Djarin himself, and some of the upcoming characters during the Mandalorian Season 2 that we found out about. I love the way that they talk about how they tried to recreate the look of the original lightsabers that they used on the set of the original trilogy when they were filming that with the reflective tape. Dave Filoni was also very clear about how they couldn't do it exactly the way it looked during the Clone Wars, just because that's animated, it's made to be very stylized in its look and feel, and they had to make it feel like an actual lightsaber during the Mandalorian series because it's live action. But as Jon Favreau says during that, the importance of the Darksaber is that it actually started out created for the Clone Wars for his special character, Pre Vizsla. He played another character, that Mandalorian infantryman, during the Mandalorian series who was part of the Vizsla clan. So that's just another link to his original Clone Wars character. But the reason why they created the Darksaber in the first place is because he was working with Dave Filoni at Skywalker Ranch while he was working on the first Iron Man film, and Dave Filoni was working on the early seasons of the Clone Wars. He asked Jon Favreau to participate and voice a character just for fun, so in order to make his character, Pre Vizsla, feel like more of a badass going up against the Jedi because it's the Clone Wars, they decided to give him a special weapon to fight the Jedi. So that's where the Darksaber originally came from. George Lucas helped create it because he was very involved in the development of the Clone Wars series. Then later it became a much bigger thing. So timeline of the actual Darksaber in the Mandalorian series between the Clone Wars and Rebels, because we can actually track who had it, where did Moff Gideon get it. We actually know a lot of these details. The Darksaber was created thousands of years ago by a member of Pre Vizsla's clan who was the first Mandalorian to ever become a Jedi. When he died, the Darksaber, which is basically just another type of lightsaber, was kept in the Jedi archives. During the fall of the Old Republic, a group of Mandalorians from Pre Vizsla's clan stole it back from the Jedi archives because this was still during the period of the Mandalorian Jedi Wars, where the Mandalorians really hated the Jedi. They kept it for eons and used it as a symbol of power to rally their culture around uniting the Mandalorian clans. It became a symbol of leadership that was then passed down through the generations and eventually landed in Pre Vizsla's hands, who at this time was the leader of the Death Watch Mandalorians, who are the same Mandalorians that rescued Din Djarin as a child during the Clone Wars. We saw that flashback during The Mandalorian Episode 8. So at this time, when this was happening, Pre Vizsla was actually part of this clan, wielding the Darksaber in real life. You have to picture a real-life version of that character running around wielding the Darksaber. Then later during the Clone Wars, when Darth Maul took over Mandalore, he took the Darksaber from Pre Vizsla. Then when he barely escaped at the end of the Clone Wars, he went back to Dathomir, left the Darksaber there until Star Wars Rebels, which takes place right before the original trilogy. During that series, it was taken back by Ezra Bridger and Sabine Wren. So Sabine Wren winds up using the Darksaber during Rebels for a while. Then at the end of that series, gives the Darksaber to Lady Bo-Katan to reunite the Mandalorian clans right before the events of Star Wars A New Hope. Then we don't know what happens to the Darksaber. There's this missing time period during the original trilogy. After Return of the Jedi, about 5 years, we see Moff Gideon showing up wielding the Darksaber, not really knowing how he got it, but we do know about his backstory and how he's tied to the Mandalorians. As they explained during The Mandalorian Season 1, Moff Gideon was actually a member of the Imperial Security Bureau that was stationed at the planet Mandalore during the Great Purge, which was happening at some point during the original trilogy. We just found out that Katie Sackhoff is going to be playing a live-action version of Lady Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian Season 2. She's listed for at least one episode on the IMDb, but the actual episode that she shows up in is kind of an unknown. They just list her for episode 1, but that's not accurate. It'll probably be some other episode. So if she's still alive, but Moff Gideon has the Darksaber, that means that at some point during the Great Purge, he either defeated her or captured her and stole it from her at some point, and that's why he has the Darksaber now in present day. What has Bo-Katan been doing this whole time? She's not the armorer. I know there's a lot of secret theories about the identity of the armor. Early prediction, though, is that Bo-Katan has just been hiding out like the other Mandalorian clans in secret, like Din Djarin's clan was hiding out underneath in the sewer system. There's also rumors about them doing a full-blown Ahsoka live-action series, so I'm assuming if we don't see Sabine or Ezra show up on the Mandalorian series, we'll see them show up on that Ahsoka series. Giancarlo Esposito has talked a lot about his Darksaber, lightsaber fight scenes that he has during The Mandalorian Season 2. It sounds like he's in a lot more episodes and a lot more scenes during Season 2 to have that many big lightsaber fights. But I think when he says he has a lot of Darksaber fight scenes, he just uses the Darksaber fighting a lot of other people, just carving through them like a hot knife through butter. But as for the Mark Hamill secret cameo in Episode 6, so obviously it's the Tatooine Boba Fett episode full of all kinds of fan service because they go back to Tatooine, and there's all kinds of references to Return of the Jedi and A New Hope. They go back to the exact same Mos Eisley Cantina now being run by droids who used to be denied entry, and there's an EV-99 droid from Jabba's palace serving as bartender, but he's voiced by Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. Don't feel bad if you didn't spot this when the actual episode happened, because as you listen to his voice again now, they processed it a lot, so it'd be really hard to tell that that's actually Mark Hamill doing that voice. I don't remember anybody commenting on this during my episode 6 video. There were a lot of very obvious Easter eggs, particularly the Boba Fett one at the end of the episode. I've already done a couple Season 2 videos about Boba Fett, so I'll link one of them at the end of this. As for Mark Hamill coming back, I know because we have all these Disney live-action series, people have wondered if we'd ever see a young version of Luke, like what's going to happen with him during the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, because during the events of that, Luke will be a young boy, so they'll probably have to cast at least a young person to be that character if they're going to show him on screen. So if they do a young version of Luke at some point, it'll probably be a younger actor that they'll recast. Everybody keeps talking about Sebastian Stan because he even did a funny audition scene as Luke Skywalker.
Learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi, like my father.
That's just Sebastian Stan having a little bit of fun, but this is a lot of fan art of Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. Does he not look like he could be Mark Hamill's son in real life? What's going to happen later this year, because they canceled Star Wars Celebration because of the virus, that's where they would have brought the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, the full official trailer. They'll probably release that online when they start releasing the new Marvel Disney Plus series, when they start ramping up to promote that. That'll be sometime towards the end of the summer, early fall. The Mandalorian Season 2 is already confirmed to premiere sometime early to mid-October. I'll keep doing more Mandalorian and Star Wars videos as we get more information about Season 2, but leave all your requests in the comments below, and I'll name a giveaway winner the next time I post a Star Wars video. Everyone click here for all my Mandalorian Season 2 Boba Fett videos, and click here for my Mandalorian Season 2 Ahsoka teaser. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.